As it's Cyberpunk season, and there's going to be a certain game announced at E3 eventually, here's one game that will hopefully satisfy you. This is Brigador, developed by Stellar Jockeys and Glassworks. I'll be covering the App Armored Edition, which is an improved version launched last year, which betters the gameplay. A great leader died, you're sort of a mercenary for corporations, so you need to get enough cash to leave the planet. The gameplay itself is very interesting. It can be described as a mix between Syndicate, Mechwarrior and Hotline Miami. Like Syndicate, you will control your mech in an isometric view, with the combat of Mechwarrior and the fast-pacedness of Hotline Miami. The shooting is one of the most interesting aspects. It has been described as a kind of three-dimensional. You will be shooting where you're pointing, instead of shooting in the direction. This means that you have to be precise, which is a big strategy in the game. You've got a big variety of mechs you can choose from. Each vehicle has its own ability and properties, allowing you to have a different gameplay style anytime you want. Are you in the mood for a stealthy approach? You can have a mech with camo. Do you feel like destroying everything? Here's a bigger mech with a shockwave ability. You can even stomp enemies or just lunge at them with a sprint. There's so many different ways to play the game, and you can choose which one fits you the best. You will have other mechs as enemies, and this can be quite tough if you're not careful enough. This will range from weak and fast to strong and powerful. They are highly reactive to sound, so you will have to rely on the abilities of your mech to destroy them. The environments are fully destructible, apart from the walls at the edge of a map, and some objectives require you to destroy certain buildings too. This can be used to your advantage though, especially if you want to catch your enemies by surprise. You will receive money depending on the stuff you destroy, the way you play it, like avoiding alarms, having a high amount of armor left, destroying important buildings, and of course the objectives you completed. Apart from doing objectives, you can play with the freelance mode. Here's where the game truly shines. With the money you've accumulated, you can buy your own pilot with their own stats like multipliers and difficulty. Create a mech with different parts that suit your gameplay style best. You also have to buy a map, which will have its own objectives as well as scenarios. Only one of scenario can be completed to exit the map completely. This is closer to a free roam mode, as you can spread distractions in the various sections of a map. The game is impressively not in 3D. Everything, mechs, buildings, little people, are all in 2D. It reminds me of mid to late 90s PC games like Tiberian Sun, Fallout 1 and 2, and the Crusader games. You'll also have a kind of day and night cycle when you restart the mission, which gives a different mood to the map, giving you a bit of a challenge if you reach night. The atmosphere of the game has been heavily influenced by Blade Runner, and you can even see its iconic dragon on some buildings. Even if it's a destructive game, the explosions, bullets, lasers aren't too confusing and you can clearly see what's going on. The game requires low specs and can even run on a 6-year-old PC. The sound is fantastically cured and will help you out when spotting enemies. Each weapon and mech has its distinctly satisfying sound. Sound is fantastically cured and will help you out when spotting enemies. Each weapon and mech has its distinctly satisfying sound. The soundtrack is a lovely collection of great synthwave music, closer to John Carpenter style. I recommend getting it if you like that type of music. Overall, this is a great throwback to the 90s mech games in the early years of Windows 98, and it's a fantastically fun experience. You will die a lot, but it's not frustrating and it encourages you to use different styles. Thanks to the update, this game had a massive improvement and it's now rated as overwhelmingly positive on its Steam page. Make sure to get this one, you won't regret it.